Hey everybody, it's Crappie Kirby, and in this week's episode of Fishy Live, we're going to be speaking with the owner of the Grizzly Jig Field. That cat's messing with that ping pong ball. It's driving me crazy. Stop it, kitty. We're back. Hey everybody, it's Crappie Kirby, and in this week's episode of Fishy Live, we're speaking with Wade Mansfield, the owner of the Grizzly Jig Company, in an attempt to get you guys excited about the Grizzly Jig Festival, which is coming up this week, February 2nd through the 5th. That's Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday of the best crappie fishermen in the planet sharing their information with you. So if you're a crappie enthusiast, if you just like to cook crappie, if you're a beginner crappie fisherman, or if you're an expert crappie fisherman, I guarantee you, you are going to take away some very valuable knowledge at the Grizzly Jig Festival. Also, crappie magnets. They're doing their Sore Lip 'em All Crappie Getaway, again, hosted by the one and only John Godwin. It is an incredible time, hosted by Les and Lois Smith at the Crappie Compound right around Sardis, Mississippi. You guys are going to eat well, 2 nights accommodation, and you're going to be guided by some of the best guides on the planet. Joel Harris, Jeremy Aldridge, champion, 8-time national champion Steve Coleman, and Les Smith himself. He's going to go out there, do a little power trolling with the Godfather. You're going to have a good time. We want you guys to enter to win this weekend. We're going to draw a winner live, I believe, on Sunday at the Crappie Magnet booth, live on Facebook at the Grizzly Jig Festival. And it's very simple to enter. All you have to do is purchase 5 items from the Crappie Magnet booth. So pick yourself up your 5 favorite colors. Mine are Isom, Therapist, Butler Gold, Percy, and then of course Black and Chartreuse. You gotta love that. But purchase 5 items and you get an entry. There's no limit to the entries, so buy a lot of Crappie Magnet stuff. You can also get registered at our other sponsors, B&M Fishing. If you guys buy a rod or if you buy some product from B&M, you can get an entry that way. Cornfield Crappie booth. Visit those guys. If you purchase something from the Cornfield Crappie guys, they are going to take care of you with an entry as well. And Hook and Bullet sunglasses. So we'd like to thank those sponsors for making this incredible giveaway possible. Without any further ado, we want to see you guys at the Grizzly Jig Festival this week, February 2nd through the 5th. And I hope you guys enjoy this interview with the one and only Wade Mansfield. Later, there she blows. Grizzly Jig Company, next exit, hallelujah. All right, on my way down to the Blue Bank Resort, I have to go through Caruthersville. Did I get the pronunciation right?
Caruthersville, Missouri.
Only took 3 years, but anyway, going to the Blue Bank, you have to go through Caruthersville, and you can't go through Caruthersville without stopping at a crappie fisherman's mecca, which is the Grizzly Jig Company.
Grizzly Jig,
and I'm here, the one and only, and I'm here with the one and only Wade Mansfield, owner of the Grizzly Jig. And what an operation you have here. How proud of you of this are you?
We're very, it's a stable business in our community. We kept around here. We're very centralized. Being in southeast the Boot Hill of Missouri, where you're just within a couple of hours of tons of Great Lakes, and the main thoroughfare up and down 55 that takes you to many more awesome lakes down south, in Mississippi, Alabama, and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it works out real good.
Now, I've been coming to the Grizzly Jig Show for about 6 years, and I've only been on the B&M team for about 3 years, so I've kind of got to see some of the inner workings since then. Yep. But man, what an upgrade that you have went from the little, was it a hardware store downtown?
Well, technically, when we bought that building, it was actually a clothing store.
A clothing store?
Yep, and it was the old famous we had bought after they had shut down, and we just added on to the back. So back there where the poles were and the service center and the warehouse and stuff, we actually built a metal building on the back of that old 2-story clothing store.
And I don't want to, insult you or anything, but it was kind of a compact, almost a small store compared to this Walmart Experience box store that you have now, wouldn't you say?
Yes, it was definitely tight fit for us. We kind of crammed everything in that building, and when we had our shows and stuff, you could really tell that it was elbow to elbow.
Oh yeah. Like the first time I walked in, it was on a Saturday, and I'm like, well, where do I go and how do I get there? It was just people holding poles and just packed in there like sardines. And now we're kind of, it looks like you're walking into a Costco.
Yeah, it's the main thing, we had always had a warehouse off-site. We bought this building back in 2015. Prior to that, we used the Brown Shoe building, which was owned by the city. We had leased from them. So technically all the merchandise and everything that was coming in either at this facility or with the Brown Shoe. It was time to put everything together, cut down on some steps, time, man hours, stuff like that.
And it's worked out, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about the design of the Grizzly Jig? Because it's decorated absolutely perfectly. I mean, you feel like you're walking into a lodge, but yet you have the convenience and the flow of like a big box store.
Yeah, that was what we were worried about. We didn't want it to be like a big box store. We didn't want it to be just nothing but tall shelves and lines of product, which does make things a lot easier for displaying and stuff like that. But we kind of wanted to keep some of the feel that the old store had. Even back in the day, we used to do. It was Grizzly Jig Hunting and Fishing Outfitters, where we sold, guns and ammunition and clothing and stuff like that. We just we found our niche and we stuck with it, so we kind of got away from that stuff. But just like you and everybody else, there's tons of guys that crappie fish. They still duck hunt. They still deer hunt. It's just part of what they're used to.
Yeah.
We didn't want it to look like an old factory building, but we wanted to keep some of that still here. To kind of give tribute to the old Colson plant that was here. So it was kind of, the design was based on kind of like a lodge barn feel / industrial. We left a lot of the eye wash stations and the big heavy steel beams and stuff like that. So.
And the things that you've incorporated into this new building are absolutely amazing. You have basically a banquet room.
Yes.
You have a break room. You have an install room for boats. And then you also electronics. And then you have the seminar room. I was going to say the speaking area, which is absolutely amazing. It looks like a church pulpit, and I think you actually have some church pews in there. Am I right?
Yep. We ended up with a few church pews. We found that it helped with the seating and stuff like that. It was kind of a spacing issue during the COVID time there, but since we passed that, it really works out real well.
Oh yeah, it's very nice, and everybody can hear you. And you got a great stage with all sorts of fishing stuff, even half a boat on your stage.
That's it.
What is that? A
War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle reached out to us, and they wanted to be in part of the deal, so we were happy to have them, and it works out great.
Makes it a great feel for people that love to fish. Am I right?
That's right.
Hey, one other thing. We were drinking a little coffee in here and talking about the duck hunting season and the crappie season and the Grizzly Jig Show that's coming up this year. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. But, man, what a great group of employees you have.
Oh, yes.
Can you talk about them? I mean, one guy said he's been with you for 9 years.
Yeah, a lot of those guys which that has been with us, and they've been with us for a long time. The biggest thing without those guys working, they're the ones, they know the product, they're getting stuff out. A lot of times I still have people that'll text me and have called in and talked to the girls. The girls have been here for a long time. They know the difference between a jig pole and a trolling pole. I mean, you're not actually talking to somebody that doesn't know anything.
Right.
They've all fished and done stuff, and they're familiar with the product. So when you are asking questions, and they go and they put forth the effort. I mean, if you want to know if the how much a crappie pole weighs. You know, we have a male scale back there. I mean, it's not a big deal for them to weigh it for you or count guides.
Yeah, that's some customer service.
That's right.
There. Yeah.
And we pride ourselves on that. You know, sometimes it's hard competing with the big box stores, but with this kind of service that we give, it should help.
Well, I would say that the service that you have here and the staff seems more like a family more than an employee type relationship, which a lot of the box stores, you know, they have a lot of turnover. But, you know, this seems more like an all-inclusive family effort to promote the sport.
And pretty much, you know, even with the girls and other guys and stuff working out here, I mean, we all do everything. It's not like each person just has one job. I mean, you know, so if you need anything, you can pretty much ask anybody, and they can do it or take care of it for you.
Yeah, including you know, your own family members. I've seen your wife in here. I've seen your daughter in here. So
when we get real busy and stuff, they all pitch in. You know, everybody's got to do what they've got to do to get through especially during the showtime. Right, you know, it's a big undertaking.
Speaking of getting busy, let's talk about that show. It's coming up.
It's always the week before the Super Bowl. We're kind of pumped up to see what kind of turnout. Last year it was phenomenal, but this year it should be a lot bigger.
Wow, that's exciting. That's exciting because I tell you what, you know, there's nothing that I enjoy more than learning and getting those little aha moments that you can only get from, you know, the pros.
Right.
Would you agree?
I
mean, I know everybody's out there got a little secret trick to catching fish, but when it comes from somebody like Ronnie Caps or Steve Coleman or Charlie Bunting or these national champions that, you know, fish 4 to 5 days a week, it seems to have a little bit more, you know, relevance.
And you know, that's the biggest thing that a lot of people, you know, it's not like you're coming to a paid venue. I mean, you're coming in, and those guys that are here, they're here a lot of times all day. Yeah. So even though they're doing a seminar, later you can still get that one-on-one conversation either with the guides or the pros or anything, especially targeting different lakes. You know, you're thinking about going to Alabama or Florida or Missouri. You know, there's plenty of guides here that actually guide on those lakes.
Yeah, and these pros have all fished those lakes.
They've all fished those.
Yeah, so you're getting that one-on-one in the aisles after the seminars.
That's right.
And the neat thing about it is it's a testament, I would say, to the crappie and catfish industry and fishing industry together that everybody comes here and comes in a joyous manner and volunteers their time. I mean, no one's getting paid to do this.
It's almost like a family reunion.
Yeah.
You know, when you went to a family reunion, everybody brought their casseroles and extra food and stuff, and everybody sat around and talked and caught up on everything. I mean, basically, it's the same thing. I mean, even while everybody's working and going, you can still see people split off in the corners, catching up, seeing guys that they hadn't seen since the year before, or that seen on the tour that they didn't have time to talk to them because they were too busy pre-fishing or getting through the tournament and then trying to get back home to their family and stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, I think you've tapped into a really, really good vein, and I wish you all the success in the world. I know you're already kind of reaping those benefits, but I wish you continued success because you can tell that you're in it because you love it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that's what
I fish less now. That's the issue. You know, anytime you get into something you love, you know, it's just part of it.
It becomes I enjoy it. The main focal point and your lifelong passion.
That's it.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Wade, for your time.
Thank you, Kirby.
Sincerely appreciate it.
Yep.
Thank you so much for watching Fish, Eat, Live. Our mission is to demonstrate the benefits of the Fish, Eat, Live lifestyle. We look forward to educating, entertaining, and attracting you to the healthy lifestyle of the great outdoors. We're definitely going to have some wholesome family fun on the water every Sunday at 6 p.m. So hit that subscription and that notification bell because we want you to come be a part of this.